I'm inclined to think that a work of art should be judged on its own merits and shouldn't depend on Oliver Dowden, the former DCMS minister, or indeed the present DCMS minister who doesn't seem to have put her head above the parapet at all, or indeed, what is it now, Nadine Dorries. She I, I don't think any of them really have any right to comment on The Crown. I think The Crown should be judged by its own standards. At the same time, I think it's perfectly reasonable that members of the public, including great actresses like Judi Dench, should write to the Times and say that caution should be taken in watching The Crown, and indeed Netflix should probably put a disclaimer that this is not historical fact, that this is a fictionalized account of events which occurred in the recent past and may be painful. I think she's right. I sympathise with what Dowden called for. Again, a disclaimer by Netflix. But at the same time, I think it should be judged on its merits. Now, if we look at the last two series fronted by Olivia Coleman, no matter how much Netflix and the Coleman campaigners trumped on and on and on about how brilliant she was, the reality was quite different. The reality was that she was frumpy, dull, and boring. Is dull and boring the same? Probably. And it was just, it was an execrable performance. And the series itself was saved simply by the brilliant performance of the actress playing Diana. There were some interesting scenes, and to criticise the fictionalisation of history and to say that that's not something we should be doing would be to criticise the heart of Shakespearean drama. So much of Shakespeare's drama was based on history, and quite recent history at that. Remember, one of his plays, the play which isn't entirely credited to him, that Thomas More, was a play set within living memory. So Shakespeare would have been, I am quite sure, one of the staff writers on The Crown. Had he been alive today, he would have been vigorously penning speeches for Prince Charles and Princess Diana, the Queen, Princess Margaret, and so on, all the many characters of that drama, but it would be drama. And because it would have been portrayed by actors wearing their own clothes on the stage of the globe, it would have been so much more obviously drama. The problem with Netflix is that once you start adding special effects, green screen, and a large budget, what starts off as drama can very easily start to look like real life. So it does need to come with some form of caveat and qualification. That said, I very much enjoyed the first two series, in fact, probably the first three series of The Crown. Was it that those series were sufficiently back in history as to be shrouded in the miasma of fiction, to be comforted, to be cocooned in history? Or is it that the writers become more desperate to sensationalize and to grab a fading audience because actually their product is not as good as it once was? I'm inclined to think the latter. And maybe with Imelda Staunton at the helm, they can raise their game. We can only hope. I'm not sure Price is necessarily, as Prince Philip, the best choice of actor. He can be good, he can be appalling. Let's hope he errs in the former direction. But Imelda Staunton is always worth watching. Always worth watching. And I don't hear a lot of people saying how brilliant Imelda Staunton is in the same way as they had to say that about Olivia Coleman, it just stands to reason. You switch on the telly and there she is, being sensational. She doesn't need people. She doesn't need the PR people to big her up, because she is one of the best actresses that we've got. I wish her well.